Hey everybody, this is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer, and welcome to a new playthrough series. This is called 5 Parsecs from Home. This is the compendium, but this is the game called Bug Hunt. This is a spin-off of 5 Parsecs from Home. I think Bug Hunt actually may have come first in a previous version, but Modiphius has released this new compendium, which is the 3 expansion books for 5 Parsecs, which are called, by the way, the Trailblazer Toolkit, the Freelancer's Handbook, and the Fixer's Guidebook. These are 3, I think, PDFs. They were released as PDFs, and now they've combined them into this one book. And in addition to those 3, they added in the original updated rules, for Bug Hunt. Bug Hunt is, the only way I can describe it is a sci-fi skirmish war game where you're just basically taking your squad in to try and fight aliens, bugs, whatever you want to call them, and get in, kill as many as you can, and then get out and repeat. And it's a little simpler in terms of the story it tells. With 5 Parsecs from Home, which I love, 5 Parsecs from Home tells a very detailed and drawn-out story of a crew of misfits. They go and they fight, they take jobs, they have encounters in space and all that. Take that, strip it down to just soldiers versus aliens in a flat-out fight, and you've got Bug Hunt. So while I love 5 Parsecs from Home, I've really been looking forward to this release. I've known about it for a while. I knew they were going to include the rules for Bug Hunt. And so since I'm starting a new campaign, it seems only fair that I start, not fair, it seems only right that I start the campaign episode 1 with making my characters. Now, you start out with 3 soldiers, and you'll be given extra soldiers depending on the mission and things like that, but your job is to maintain and grow these 3 soldiers. And if you have the book, I'll tell you it's on page, we're going to start on page, we're going to start on page 170. If you don't have the book, just follow along. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be writing this information in, and then I will clean it up, type it up, and when I play the game, I will have some form of digital card on the screen so that you'll be able to follow along and see the weapons I'm using and bonuses and anything like that. So the first thing you have to do for your 3 main characters is you have 5 stats: reaction, speed, combat, toughness, and savvy. And they all start out the same. You have 1 reaction, a speed of 4, plus 0 combat, 3 toughness, and plus 0 savvy. That's it. Every hero starts out that same. But then you go and you do some random rolling to determine their origin, their basic training they got, and their service history. And these can give you things that will flesh that character out. So what I'm going to do, this is a D100 system. I'm going to roll, blue is high, blue is the tens digit. I'm going to roll for this character's origin. I rolled a 33. A 33 is a high-tech world, so I'm just going to write that in here, high-tech, and they get plus 1 savvy, so I'll erase that and add in plus 1 savvy, and for advantages, they don't have any. There's a column, there's origin, effect, and advantages, so I've done that. So let's look at the basic training. I'll roll for the basic training, and that is a 57, which is naval forces and naval marines specifically get plus 1 combat and plus 1 reaction. So they react faster. If these stats don't make sense to you because you're not familiar with 5 Parsecs, don't worry. They will all be explained when the game starts. And then last, I've got to get their service history. Again, a D100, that is a 28, which is patrolling in fringe space on the outer worlds. All right, so fringe. They start out with plus 1 XP. XP can be used to increase your stats and things like that. So they all begin with a service pistol and trooper armor, which gives them a 5+ armor save. And just quick is, if you take a hit that can knock you out of the game or give damage, you roll a d6. And on a 5 or higher, you shrug it off. There are some other penalties, but it basically saves your life. All right, that is my first hero. He has no missions under his belt, no rep or reputation. Let's go to the next one. And again, I will start right back where with those stats of 1 reaction, 4 speed, +0 combat, 3 toughness, and +0 savvy. Let's roll for their origin. That is a 44, which is a struggling colony. Struggling colony. They get +1 toughness. So they're tougher to kill. That's all they get for their struggling colony. Let's roll for basic training. That is a 68, which is Naval Forces Security. Naval Security. And they get +1 combat and +1 savvy. And then last, I'll roll for their service history. That is a 13, which is patrol in low intensity regions. So I'll just put patrol, low intensity. And for this, they get +1 XP. And then last, my third and final character, we'll start back again. 1 reaction, 4 speed, +0 combat, 3 toughness, and +0. And if you're a player of 5 Parsecs from Home, those numbers should look familiar to you. Those are your human starting stats. So let's roll for the origin, which is 84. 84 is Scientific Outpost. Science Outpost. For that, they get +1 savvy. All right, for basic training, 55. I think I rolled 33, 44, 55. I could be wrong, but 55 is Naval Forces Marines. So I guess I didn't because I rolled that first. Naval Marines. And it's +1 combat and +1 reaction. And then last, the service history. That is a 71, which is anti-pirate operation. Anti-pirate ops. +1 completed mission. All right, so they get a 1 on a mission and +1 XP. So these 3 guys or gals, haven't decided yet, automatically, we know what they start with, but it looks like they all start with 1 XP, which means they're well on their way to improving some of their stats. All right. If you want, there's a table for rolling your regiment. I'm not going to do that here. You're going to get, like I said, you're going to get combat teams assigned to you for additional firepower. And usually when you go on a mission, you're going to get a better weapon, something better than a pistol. And their armor saves are all 5+. They all have that same armor, and they all start with that same pistol. But trust me, you won't be using that for long. All right, so just so you know, the bug hunt section of the book is very thin. Let me show it to you. It only takes, it starts on page 161 and it goes through page 207. So it's only about 40 pages, maybe 50 pages at max. It's the very last section of the book. It's only about it's about a quarter of the book, so that makes sense. So if you want to play the original 5 Parsecs from Home, you'll need the 5 Parsecs rulebook, the core rulebook. And then, like I said, this compendium just adds 3 expansion rulebooks for additional rules and things like that. It brings in new races that you can play, new powers, new jobs, there's a whole bunch in here. I mean, I sat down and read through this last night, and it's a lot of expansions to the basic 5 Parsecs. Now, some of you may be wondering, are you ever going to play 5 Parsecs from home again? Yes, I definitely want to start up a new crew and get going. But what I really want to do is play Bug Hunt for just a little while. I want to see how it plays out. It is a tight quarters type game. With 5 Parsecs from home, a lot of times the games are played on this open 2 foot or 3 foot by 3 foot area with a lot of areas to run and cover or gain cover. 5 Parsecs from home, most of the games are supposed to take place inside, like inside a ship, inside a base. So the quarters are tighter, the angles are tighter, more surprises, that kind of thing. Given that I've never played Bug Hunt, there's going to be a slight learning curve, but I will read over the rules more than once just to familiarize myself. But to give you an idea of how it plays, you will lay out your terrain, and the book does provide descriptions on how that terrain will be defined, like small, medium, large, that kind of stuff. But what it is if you've seen the movie Aliens, if you remember they had that scanner that beeps as it detects movement, you know, that ling, ling, kind of, I can't do it. I'll put the noise in here if I can remember. Anyway, in this game, you're basically hunting bugs. You're basically hunting aliens that have infested a station or a ship or whatever. And so there's this mechanic in here where you're going to be placing these little markers around. And these markers, the number of them will be defined by the mission, by random rolls, and other factors like the complexity of the game you want to play. You can define how deadly of a game you want to play, and that will affect these markers. But what happens is these markers are going to move. Sometimes they'll move randomly, sometimes they'll move towards you, sometimes they'll stay put. And it's when you trigger these markers that you'll determine what they are. They might be a bump in the night. They might be an actual creature. They might be a bunch of creatures. It's got this sort of like stress building mechanic built into it that you don't know what's around the corner or what is beyond a door. And I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing how this game plays out. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to get my 3 characters named. I'm going to get the minis picked for them. I'll get their cards created. And then in the next episode, I am going to play a game of Bug Hunt. You'll have to bear with me on that first game, maybe the first 2 games, as I get a grasp of the rules. But I will explain what I'm doing as the game progresses, so that if you like it, you'll have a better understanding of the game. You won't be starting from zero. And I'm hoping to play through many games so that you'll see the varieties that this game brings. All right, that's all I got. This is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me as I created, very quickly as you can see, my first 3 characters. The rules say you can go up to 5 or 7, but it recommends starting with the 3. And in the next episode, we'll get to Bug Hunt and we'll start hunting bugs. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, everybody, take care.